This is the story of one of Australia's top police officers gone rogue. He was known for putting drug traffickers behind bars, but this cop was playing both sides. In 2007, in Sydney, Australia, one of the country's top cops, Mark Standen, has become a prime suspect in an international drug trafficking investigation. Although Standen doesn't know it yet, police have intercepted a call to his phone from an Australian businessman who they have just been informed is in contact with a Dutch drug cartel.
G'day, mate. How you going? Good yourself? Oh, not bad. Everything all right? Yeah, okay. On target for your trip?
The Australian businessman was Bill Jalalati, and he'd known Mark Standen for years. But why was he involved with an international drug cartel?
Bill's business was an importer. He didn't have a criminal record. His wife had been a police officer before, and she had worked with Standen.
The Australian Federal Police had thought Jalalati was the main contact for the cartel and had spotted the opportunity to make large sums of money on the side. But they slowly start to realise that Standen was most likely the instigator.
Bill was a pretty, straightforward, simple guy. He was just running around distributing meat around Sydney. And I've got very little doubt that Mark is the one that lent on Bill through that relationship.
So why would such a senior cop with a distinguished career risk everything to go from law enforcer to drug dealer? But once the police started looking into it, Standen's motives for turning to crime became more apparent.
His financial position was certainly not a strong one and was indicative of someone who had a series of debts throughout his life.
But it was well paid though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I mean, the position he was in when we investigated him was assistant director at the New South Wales Crime Commission. So that was a high-paying job. It was certainly well above what your average police officer was making. It was well over, $250,000 a year.
So you would say none of these things that happened was something you could foresee?
I wouldn't say that. I think there were rumours that he had a gambling problem.
There were other expenditures that Standen had wanted to keep quiet, especially from his wife, Lynn.
We know that he was having an affair and that he was trying to maintain a particular lifestyle for that woman that he was having an affair with. So he would buy her lots of nice jewellery, he wanted to take her on holidays, and he got in debt to do that.
With mounting debt, Standen pushed forward with his part in a drug trafficking plot worth millions. The Dutch drugs cartel had asked their supplier in Pakistan to ship the drugs directly to Australia.
So according to the evidence, the massive shipment of rice with the drugs were about to leave the docks off Pakistan, and there was great excitement. There was great chatter between Kinch and Standen. The toys are coming soon, or it's all very exciting.
But it wasn't plain sailing.
When the container arrived, it was on the wharf, and instead of receiving the original bill of lading, Bill received a ransom note, basically from the company in Pakistan that had sent the shipment, which was some 400 and something bags of rice. And the ransom note basically said that the Dutch people who had organised it hadn't paid them and that he would not release the original bill of lading until he'd been paid.
With the rice shipment stuck at customs and Jalalati becoming increasingly anxious, Standen would have to take charge of this situation. Otherwise, his dreams of a big payday were over. Standen continued to use his influence to try and divert customs' attention away from his drug shipment from Pakistan and into other cargo he claimed to have been tipped off about.
Mark Standen. Hey, Mark, Steve. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Good, thanks. Yourself? Not bad, thanks for calling back. I've just got a bit of info I thought I'd pass here. Yeah. Steve, we've got an informer who has a very good history with us. He lives in Europe. Yeah. All he knows is that it's crystal MDMA and it's in a consignment of bath salts from China.
Unbeknown to Standen, whilst he and his co-conspirators are trying to get their shipment safely through customs, the police are way ahead of them.
This container went to a quarantine site, and that's where we sort of interjected, and we had that container through a trusted customs contact moved to a site where we could open it up.
The police searched a container and there were no drugs. So basically what happened is they've been double-crossed. So the Pakistanis haven't put the drugs in,